All right, hi everybody. We're gonna make a clay donut today. All you are going to need is obviously some clay. You will need some water for attaching, knives for scoring, and then a clay mat so everything can stay clean. With our ball of clay, the first thing we are going to do, I need to break it into two. The thing about making a clay donut is we need to make it hollow so that it's not too thick when it goes in the kiln to cook. So we are first going to start by taking our first ball of clay and we are going to be making a pinch pot. Now to make a pinch pot, I have my ball here. I am going to stick my thumb maybe about 2/3, so a little bit more than halfway through, stick my thumb in there. Have it on my thumb right here. I don't want to go all the way to the bottom, but I want to get pretty close. You can see my thumb is in there right now. It's about maybe right here in it. So after I have that, I am going to start pinching. Now what we don't want to do, we don't want to be like pinching up the sides because then it gets really thin. We want to be making almost like a lobster claw on the inside of our pot. So I'm gonna start pinching around, see how my fingers are all the way down there, making it thinner and thinner. I don't have them up here, I have them all the way around the pot. So I'm slowly making it bigger and bigger. Now for this donut, we actually want this to be pretty short, I guess. So I'm actually going to hit it on the table a few times just so it becomes a little shorter. I'm gonna keep bringing those walls out though. If it gets a little cracked, you might see around here, I can actually take my water, dip my fingers in there, little bit of water. If we add too much water, it turns to mud. So we wanna have a little bit of water on there just to get those cracks on there. I will now keep getting the walls out. I actually want it to be pretty thick so then I can get them together. I'm gonna keep working on that, bringing it out more and more. Like I said, just doing the pinching. I'm barely pushing at all. It takes a little bit of time. I do want it to be rounded. I know I tried to flatten it a little bit there for a second, but I want this to be rounded right there. Once I have my one, I'm actually going to do it again. So if that was a little bit confusing, I'm gonna do it a second time. I have my ball right here. Like I said before, take my handy dandy thumb that I think or hope everybody has. Thumb, put it right through there, push it in all the way. Don't want it to go too much in because I don't want to poke a hole through my clay ball, but I also want it to go deep enough so I don't have too thick up a bottom. So I'll start lobster claw pinching around. I don't want to be pulling up. I'm just doing this motion as I turn it, making the walls as even as I can, just by putting pressure. Now it's getting a little bit too tall, so I want to start flattening it out just a little bit. So I want to make it wider instead of taller because this is a donut. It's not going to be this like sphere, I guess, this like circle. So we're making donut. Now here's the little trick when it comes to making your second pot. You actually want them to be the same size, so stick together like that. Now this is still ball shaped, so we might want to flatten them out a little bit more just to make sure it doesn't look too much. There we go. Ooh, that's better. It can still be big because we want a pretty big donut so we can glaze it later, but we just don't want it to be circular. So I have my two sides right there. I actually want to flatten a little bit my sides so they stick together. I'll hit them on the table very lightly on there. So that's a little bit flatter. I'm being very careful when I'm doing this because if I start smacking it down, then it's gonna just flatten like a pancake. So donuts, not pancakes. Flatten it a little bit more there. They're still about the same size, so that's gonna be good. Now here's the trick. Right now, this looks like a jelly donut. We want there to be a hole in the middle. So I'm gonna take my thumb again and I'm gonna stick it right in the middle. make a hole right through my pot, because look, it's starting to make a donut. And I can make the hole bigger just using my finger right there. And you can keep this extra clay on there if you want. It doesn't really matter. If it bothers you, you can pinch it off a little bit. Doesn't matter to me. So made that hole. I'm gonna leave it just like that for now. I'm gonna do it again to the other one. I'm gonna stick my thumb right in there. Perfect, just like that. Now you want these holes to be the same size too. Look, these look like little donuts already. Wow. Right now it's gonna look like a bagel before anything. Yeah, I believe those holes are, yeah, about the same size. Might make it a little bit bigger, so I'll take my fingers just to widen it out just a little bit more. I think I like that shape a little bit better. Do it again, just taking my fingers and I'm widening it out very slowly. I can't stress enough that the key to all of this is to go slow. So look, now I have some hollow. They're still pretty thick, but they're not as thick as this would have been if it was just solid clay. So I have them hollowed out. Now I would like to attach them together. That would be great. So what I'm going to do, it is called scoring. I'm going to take my knife that I showed before, and I am going to put little scratches all around my donut. Basically anything that you want to attach should be scratch and scored is what it is called. So taking my knife, there are some artists that actually take bent forks to try to get it as messy as possible. So it looks like this. Some of you might try to do little lines like that. That is not enough. That is not going to stick together. We need it super messy like this. It's kind of like Velcro. You want it like this. So I'm going to do it again to the other side. Scratch, scratch, scratch it all up. Perfecto. Scratching. And then we have our water here to actually attach these now together. So I scratched it all up. Scratching might take you a little bit of time. I do it pretty fast just because I've done it so much. But if that freaks you out, take your time. It is all good. So I have the two things that I want to attach. These are going to be put together just like Velcro, I like to say. From there, I will take my water, finger dip. We're not trying to dump water onto it because that's just going to turn to mud. Finger dip all the way around like that. Do it again on the other side where we want to attach. Then I'm just going to stick them together. I'll push on it just a little bit so they stick. I don't want to flatten it. These aren't pancakes. Can't say that enough times. So I have it together now, but we've got this line that does not look good at all right now. It almost looks like a bagel sandwich. We want this to turn into a whole bagel or a donut. Kind of looks like a bagel right now because there's not decorations. I'm going to take my finger and I am going to push the clay into each other. So I'm actually making like little finger dents, but don't worry, we can smooth those out. I'm really just making sure that this all gets attached. So I'm like pushing it all around, pushing, kind of pulling the clay. Maybe I'll do it kind of up too. Just kind of making that line disappear. Pushing, 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 pushing all that together right there. Getting that all awesome. So now it's starting to look together, but we will take our water just to smooth it out. So I'm taking my thumb, a little bit of water just to smooth everything out. I'm kind of like doing this motion. I'll press it together a little bit more because we don't want it to be too tall. Rubbing my thumb all over this. Get it? Making sure we have that hole in the center. Awesome. I'm gonna press it a little bit more. So I want it to be pretty flat. You might notice, so the clay in the center, if you want to smooth that out, you can. So I'm taking my finger and I'm doing the same motion in there just to make it all smooth. So something you probably want to be thinking about now as you get to this point is there actually needs to be a hole in your donut, not just the hole in the center. We want a hole somewhere on it so when it goes in the kiln, so when it cooks, there is a spot for air to escape. So you can put that hole on the outside, on the bottom. I might put mine actually hidden on the inside, so I'm gonna make a little hole with my knife. Maybe I might take this end just to smooth it out down there. This takes precision. And I want to make sure the hole, it's going to be hard to see, right in there, so that when the air tries to come out, I'm actually putting my finger in there now. When the air tries to come out, it will have somewhere to go, okay? After this, you can take some time to decorate it. I know it still looks a little thick. Maybe I'll push down some areas, smooth it out a little bit more till I get the shape that I want. It's okay that it's this thick. We want them to be a pretty sturdy piece of clay. From here, if you want, you can decorate it with icing. You can make little sprinkles if you want to put on there. I might make this actually smaller. Remember though, whatever you attach needs to be scored, even small things like the sprinkles. So I will attach anything you're attaching. You gotta scratch. Take some water, add some water there. Cool, that looks one little sprinkle. Maybe I'll add some more sprinkles. Some water there. Cool. So that's really all I have for you guys to do. You can decorate however you want. I've been doing a theme of somehow with the artist that I've been talking about. He makes many different types of donuts. You can make like galaxy donuts, animal donuts, decorate it like other food. I had someone ask about doing like a pizza donut. You can do that, cartoon, any kind of thing that you want is all good for me. Or always, you can decorate it just like a donut. Ooh, maybe I may make it a face. That would be funny. Maybe I'll make a face. But yeah, so enjoy making your donut. Make sure there's a hole somewhere in it so air can escape, all right? Okay, all right, bye.